One way that you can help your child understand writing is by helping them understand the order in which words go in a sentence in order for it to make sense. You can use a scrap piece of paper or index cards and write a sentence out. Then you'll want to scramble it up and put the words out of order. Read it together with your child, or if it's in the beginning of the year, you may need to read it to them. Fish, CIA. Now you'll want to ask them, does that make sense? You always want to have them work through it and think about it rather than just giving them the answer. Hopefully they say no. Have them move the words around and continue to read the whole thing until it makes sense and is in order. Fish, ICA. Does that sound right? I see a fish. Does that sound right? Yes. Another way that you could help them is you could have it written out, I see a fish, and they could match it. I see a fish. This is a great way for them to practice independently without you sitting with them. A great way to help your child bridge their reading and writing is by using an activity like this. You could write this on a whiteboard or on a cookie sheet. Make sure you're using a dry erase marker. You could also build yourself a template just like this. Read it, you're going to want to have either post-it notes or index cards with the words already read on them, and have a big pile of them so that they can choose from. Then they'll put the word under read it. Funny. Here for build it, you're going to want to have either scrap pieces of paper cut up with the letters on it or use magnetic letters. Now they have to put the word in order, the letters in order to make the word. Funny, funny. Now here they have to use it in a sentence. Have them tell you a sentence with the word in it. I am funny. They need to remember to use an uppercase to start, finger spaces in between their words, am. You can be paying attention to their handwriting here too and making sure that they're writing the letters in the correct spaces on the lines. Finger space, funny. And they need to use end punctuation mark as well, with a period. Have them read you the sentence again. I am funny. This is an important activity because sometimes children get really good at reading sight words, but we don't see the sight words show up in their writing. So it's important to have them read it, build it, because as they're manipulating and moving pieces like scrap pieces of paper or magnetic letters, it really helps the concept to stick in their brains. And then to apply that into their writing and have it spelled correctly so that we're bridging that reading and writing gap for them so that it makes more sense. As your child begins learning how to write, it may look something like this. This is called letter stringing, and there really isn't a lot of correlation between the letters that they're writing and the letter sounds that the words they're trying to write are actually making. This is okay when they first start writing. Then you'll see your child move to something like this. They may tell you that their sentence is, I see a dog. This tells us that they're understanding that beginning sound. When they start to understand finger spaces, their sentence may look something like this. Here they've got an uppercase to start, finger spaces between their words, and a period to end. This shows the progression that they are understanding more skills about writing. As they begin to learn their sight words, they will start to include those in their sentences. Now they may be hearing the last sound in the word. I see a dog. This progression is perfectly normal, and we love to see them write just the way they are learning because it helps us to know how we can help them. After this, we want to see them start listening for that middle sound. I see a dog. always starting with an uppercase, finger spaces in between, and a period to end. A great way to help your child with their writing is to draw lines on the paper. You can do it for them, but then you'll want them to start doing it independently. So first you'll have your child tell you their sentence. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Next, you'll want to count out how many words that is. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Help them make lines. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. This really helps them to break it apart and understand that they can just focus on one word at a time. Continue saying it with them. Go through the sentence. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Now, the words don't have to be spelled correctly. As the year progresses, once the words are on a spelling test, we do look for those words to be spelled correctly in their writing. But as long as they're sounding them out and writing down the sounds that they hear, that's all that we ask of them in class. We also teach them from the beginning of the year what an adjective is. An adjective is a describing word. It describes the noun. We tell them what a noun is, a person, place, thing, or animal. And we tell them what a verb is, an action word. I also like for the students to include where their writing is taking place. That's the setting. Start with the first word. What's the first word you're writing? Sometimes the children get overwhelmed, or sometimes their stamina is only long enough for them to write and sound out their words for the first line, and then you might see them start letter stringing again on the next lines. So you always want to make sure that the sentence is long enough to go more than one line, or have them write 2 sentences. Drawing the lines helps them just to focus on one word at a time. So I like to ask them, what's your first word? The. Do you know how to spell the word the? Yeah. Then I'll cover up their paper and I'll say, okay, tell it to me. T-H-E. Exactly. Write it on your paper. Remember, they should be writing the first letter of the first word of their sentence with an uppercase. The. What's your next word? The big. Now they may know how to spell big, or they may only get the first sound. They may only get the last sound. If they write BG, that's okay. If it's later in the year, we probably want them hearing that middle sound too. B-ig. The big monkey. E. They may sound out monkey just like this. That's okay. The big monkey is. As you can see, I'm going back and reading the words each time as we're going through the sentence. Have your child do this too. The big monkey is. What word are you writing on this line? Is. Do you know how to spell is? I-S. Okay, write it on your paper. Some of the children think that when they return sweep to the next line, that this has to be uppercase. But we always want to remind them that only the first letter of the first word is uppercase, or names, and that they need to read all the way through to the end until they get to the period. The big monkey is swinging. S. Maybe they only hear the beginning sound. Sw. I do teach them a word chunk, ing, and we have a poster in class, so many of the children do know ing says ing. Many of the children write swing for swing-ing because they don't understand that there's 2 ings, and that's okay. The big monkey is swinging in. What's your next word? In. How do you spell in? I-N. Okay, write it on your paper. The big monkey is swinging in the. How do you spell the? T-H-E. Can you find it again on your paper somewhere else? It's right there. The. T-H-E. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Now the TR blend at the beginning is very hard for the children to hear, and many of them think that it's making the ch sound. So oftentimes I will see something like this for tree, and that's okay. That TR blend is difficult. Some of them may write t, tr, and they may get that. We practice our H brothers, CH, TH, and SH all year long as well, so that's why some of them hear the ch and write CH. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Now you'll want them to draw a picture that matches their sentence. There should be a big monkey, it should be in a tree, and maybe it's swinging off one of the branches. I also tell the children not to make sure that nothing is floating. So there should be ground, the tree, and the monkey. The big monkey is swinging in the tree. Have your child get creative and write about things that they like to write about, or places that you've been, or something that they've done over the summer or the weekend, or maybe you went to Great Wolf Lodge or Kalahari. They always love writing about time that they've spent with family. Try and make it a fun activity, and these lines underneath really do help the children to see that each word has its own space in the sentence.